Hey folks, welcome back. So we've showed you how to catch these walleye, okay? We've showed you how to catch them trolling with dipsies and with jets. We showed you how to catch them drifting with harnesses. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to clean these fish. So let's get down to the meat of the matter. I'm going to show you how to make this fish boneless. And the way that I use it, since I was a squirt, I've been using a regular fillet knife. Now I know a lot of people use an electric fillet knife, which that's awesome. I just never really had the knack for it. So maybe you guys comment on this video, leave me a trick. Maybe I can use a mechanical fillet knife and make it go faster. But I'm going to show you the old-fashioned manual way on how to do it, how to get a boneless fillet, how to get the most meat out of your fish, so you're not really wasting anything. I mean, these things take time to catch. They take work to catch. And nobody wants to butcher them up and have a crappy fillet. So, let's get to it. If you like this video, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let's get to it, and let's clean some walleye. Okay, folks, so here's a walleye we got yesterday on the lake. Now, I ice my fish overnight because I find it makes cleaning the fish easier. It makes the meat a little bit softer. So let me show you how to do this. So I flip the fish on its back, and right here underneath these two pelvic fins, I tilt my knife a little bit, and I make an initial cut. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get behind this bone here that's on this fish, behind this pectoral fin. So I make my initial cut, and I bring it right behind that pectoral fin there. You see there's a bone that runs in there. This bone right here, and you can't cut through it. But then I bring my cut as far up on the skull as I can get it, because I want the most amount of meat out of this fish. I flip it over. I do the other side the same way, bringing my knife way up high on that and right down to cut through that, behind that bone, And then I come back here in between the front dorsal fin and the back dorsal fin, and I poke a hole in it. And then I turn my knife, and I'm only using about an inch and a half of my knife. Small little cuts so I can ride the spine down and get as close as possible on this fish. All the way up to my initial cut. And the same thing, just bringing my knife through along the spine until I hear the rib cage. And that's the rib cage right there. So, right here at the anal opening, why I started here, is I'm actually going to push my knife through the fish, and I'm going to bring it down to cut off the back of this fillet here, off the spine. So, bringing your knife right over top of the spine here, right out of the anal opening. I'm tilting my knife a little. I'm doing it drastic to show you how I'm tilting it. I'm actually tilting it down like this. But I'm only tilting it a little bit. Oop, got that B. Look at that. There we go. One less B. So, bringing it through here, and then tilting my knife a little, riding the spine down to the back of the tail, and cut through. Now all you have is spine. Saving all that good meat. So I come in here, I open this fish up, find that rib cage again. Okay? And then what I'm doing here is there's a pin bone that runs lateral, just like this, on this rib cage. Now I want to cut through that, and I don't want to cut through the ribs. So slow and sure, just bring your knife up, following the rib cage up to get the most amount of meat that you can get off of it. And then once you hit that pin bone, you'll know, because you'll pop right through it if your knife is sharp enough. And it should just sound like a couple little cracks. And you're getting through that pin bone. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to bring your knife right down along the rib cage here. But before I finish taking this fillet off, I like to flip my fish over, because I like when it's up off of the table. I can just work better that way. Sometimes people like it flatter on the table. And then once again, at my initial cut here, doing the same thing, bringing it right down the spine, right to the back of this front dorsal fin, through the anal opening, and then down that fish again to the tail. Once again, opening this fish up, getting to the rib cage now, and I like to come up here and turn my knife to get to the initial pin bone up here. And then you can hear you're popping through that pin bone. Right back here, and then you're going to follow that rib cage down once again. Now, the fish gets a little thin up here at the front, so if you lose a little bit of meat right here, it's not a huge deal. You're getting 99% of this meat. And if you hold this up and it's sunny, you could see that rib cage in there. And when you actually get to the bottom of the rib cage, you can just start cutting. You can start cutting your fillet off of the fish. Now don't worry about it if you chop it up a little and you get some more bones in there, you can pick them out. But once you get down to the bottom of the fish here, I just take my knife and I just cut this fillet right off. Now, you got a nice fillet there. Now I flip this fish over once again, and where we initially started and following that rib cage down, you're just going to continue to do the same thing. You're going to come in and follow that rib cage down all the way, and if you're like me, you'll notice one side of your fish will be better than the other. I'm not a lefty, so this side here, it usually takes a little bit of time. Now I'm doing this slow. I can whip these fish out pretty quick, but for informational purposes here, I'm just going nice and slow just to show you what you're looking for. And once you get to the bottom of that fillet, you'll just have to nip off where the innards will hold on to your anal opening there. Now, I think probably the best part of this fish, now a lot of people will keep this. It's called the walleye wings. And there is some meat in there. There's a lot of meat in there. And people keep that stuff. I generally don't. And you could see here, you would have to come up and you just take this off of the fish here. Then you come down to get this meat here. And that would be your walleye wing, which there's some meat in there, but this fish is big enough. I mean, look at the thickness of those fillets there. But the one thing I really do like to get are these cheeks. Right here, there's a soft cheek, and you can see there's a line right here that follows this. So I bring my knife right in here. Oops, my fish is falling off the table there. So I bring my knife right down here like this, and an initial cut, and I'm cutting all the way up to where the eyeball's at, and then up a little bit. And you see how you get that nice chunk of meat there? And then it will actually peel off that skin, just like this. So now you have a really nice walleye cheek. It's just a different consistency. Almost reminds me of like a meat consistency versus a fish consistency. So flipping it over here once again, doing the same thing, bringing my knife in and right up to the eyeball, and I'm just cutting so I can get through that meat to get to the skin. And then you're peeling it off once again there, and now you got another nice walleye cheek. The guts, break the fish in half, and it goes down here into my garbage bin. So, now that we've got these really nice walleye fillets here, what I want to do is I want to show you how to skin it and remove this pin bone. So, come back here to the back, and I know a lot of people use forks for this. It's because it helps them hold that fish. I have a little bit of nails, and I've been doing this for a long time. So, I'm bringing my knife down, and I'm making a cut against the skin like this, right against the table. You see I turn my knife there, and I like to pull my fish back a little bit. You'll feel some resistance, and then I hold it down there because I want it stretched as much as possible. And I'm actually pushing down on my knife and tilting it ever so slightly just to ride that skin down. Now, if you cut some skin off on your fillet, that's okay. It's better to have to shear a little skin off of that fillet than to have to lose a ton of meat on here. So right there, that's your skin. This is your fillet. Now let's skin the second one here. Once again, bringing that knife down in that initial cut, give her a little stretch because it'll be sticky on the table, and I like to hold this fillet nice and tight here. And I just keep moving my hand up underneath the fillet, pulling it back to me, keeping it stretched. And right there, there's another skin and another perfect walleye fillet. So, what I like to do here is you can see just on top of the rib cage, you can see where the rib cage bones were. But right here, this little line right here is where that pin bone is. And if you rub your hand back, you can feel it. So you come to the back of the rib cage here, and then you're going to make that cut right on top of that little line, okay? And then you're going to come just under this little red line, that pin bones. You're making another cut. Now, this right here contains those pin bones. You're not losing any meat because it's just full of bones. So, let's do this one here. Boy, these flies are bad. I got to hurry. And we're going to do the same thing. Right here is that pin bone. So you're going to come down here, right on top of that, and you're separating that meat. Coming right here, going right down below it again, and you're separating that one. That is your pin bone meat. And here is 2 beautiful walleye fillets. And 2 beautiful cheeks off of one of the walleye we got yesterday. So, if you like this video, you found it helpful, leave me a comment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys have any tricks, let me know. Other than that, I'll see you on the water. Catch me on the next fishing adventure, and follow me for more. Talk to you soon. Show you how fast I can do it here. This is just one that I started to cut here. So once you get some fish under your belt, you'll be able to do it the same speed. But like I said, that last one I was doing for informational purposes, so I was doing it a little slow so you could see every cut. Here I already know the feel of these cuts and what I'm looking for when it comes down to it. And once you get a little bit better, or use this trick, or any tricks that you have, then you can come down here and you can clean these fish pretty quick. Walleye cheek. Walleye cheek. Fish in the garbage. Do the skinning. Skin this one. A little bit of fin here left on top of this one. Pin bone. Pin bone. That's it. 2 nice walleye fillets, 2 nice walleye cheeks. They go right in the bucket.